Welcome back to the Mentor Show, which offers quick lessons packaged within minisodes for busy founders and startup leaders like you. I'm Adil, and I'm being mentored live and unscripted by Ed, who's built, sold, turned around, and scaled startups all the way to the New York Stock Exchange. He's based in the US, a developed economy, and I'm based in Dubai, a hub within an emerging economy. And we compare notes. This is real talk, no scripts, no theory. Let's get into it. I'm assuming that the whole logic behind this stems from two resource limitations. One of them is talent, and the other one is money. And I'm assuming in the developed world, there is such a high competition for the best talent. So, of course, you want to compete by attracting the best. And then, even though you have abundance of cash, but still, everyone is competing against each other. So they want to attract the best people in the industry because they believe this is what makes the company succeed and makes it become investable. And working with smart people, the best people, will increase the chances of success. And this is how also some studies show that VCs look at it that way as well. However, in emerging markets and developing markets, I'm just assuming, I might be wrong, we don't have this competition for talent. Maybe, I don't know if there is the appreciation to attract the best people. Might be that I just want to hire people that do the job. And this is why many of these companies today, we believe that, and again, I'm hearing this from discussions within the industry, that many of them are overvalued because of that. So I would love to hear your thoughts about what I'm saying. Does it make sense? Is it how it works there? Do you think at some point the developed world was like this and it had to change at a point of time?
I think this is kind of a multiple set of questions around the core central theme of valuation. So let me take a step back for a moment and attempt to answer it this way. And I can intersperse Talabat as an example here. If a company is a startup, and I'm going to use the context of the Western world. As a startup, it has an idea. It has no product. It has no employees. It has no revenue. It's maybe 2 or 3 people that have come together around this central idea that they want to turn into a product or a service. And if these people, this founding team, if they've had prior experience in starting a company, or maybe they have prior experience as part of a division within a larger company, standing up a brand new operation and getting it started from scratch, that team represents a pretty good bet that these people can actually take an idea from concept to some sort of reality. One of the biggest and most challenging questions to ask and answer is, what is the value of that startup idea that has no product, no revenue, no customers, no employees? In the West, we say it's worth somewhere between $1 and $5 million. Now, why do we say that? Professional investors look at these very young startups, and the one question they ask, is this company trying to solve a big problem? And a big problem in the mind of the investor is, in 3 years, can this company be 10 million in revenue? In 5 years, can this company be 50 million in revenue? And what drives that is the total addressable market, or the TAM, that they're after, right? So I'll give you an example. If you're starting a restaurant in Manama, Bahrain, or Kuwait City, or Doha, Qatar, the size of that local market is only so big. Therefore, you can use some simple logic that says no company is going to get 100% of the market. That's just not feasible. I would say if you can get 15 to 20% of your market, you're doing quite well. You're a major player in that market. So if we just played some silly math and say, what is 10 to 20% of a $100 million market, restaurants in Manama or Kuwait City or Doha, it would mean that 20% of $100 million is $20 million. That's how big that business is going to get. It's never going to get to 50, highly unlikely, right? It likely won't get to 10, because at 10, you have to own 50% of the market to have a chance of achieving that kind of number. So those kinds of companies, a restaurant, very low valuation. If it's a tech company and your tech could be sold across the entire GCC or across the entire Islamic world, like Sharia compliance fintech application, that number gets bigger. So your pre-money valuation, that's before any investment comes in, is a number that you need to argue and justify why that number is what it is. It could be $1 million, could be 5 million. I sincerely doubt it's going to get much bigger than that because you haven't done anything. So let's just say, for the sake of this example, that our company is worth $5 million pre-money. And let's say the investor community agrees to this. Or better yet, let's make it even easier so the math makes sense. Let's say it's only worth 4 million. Right? I have a team, I have an idea, it's pretty well thought out, I've got a target market. And what I need is $1 million to start the company. So 4 million pre-money plus 1 million invested cash equals 5 million post-money. If you take 1 million of cash divided by 5 million of post-money valuation, you, the founder, have just sold 20% of your equity in the company to your investor. So you go from 100% ownership, the three of you, to 80% ownership, however you've divided up that 80%. That's called dilution. And every time you raise money, you take dilution. So let's say the $1 million comes in. Your job as a team is to hire some staff, build product, sell it, and get some customers, and achieve in the next 12 to 18 months some traction, some execution, such that when you now go to raise the next round of capital, your company's not worth 5 million, it's going to be worth more than 5 million. How much more is a negotiated conversation. Now, if in 12 months you only get one customer, it's not worth a lot. In fact, it's a huge disappointment. If you have 100 customers in 12 months, that is a whole different conversation. So if we take this one step further, let's say that you have 100 customers, they're very happy, they're paying money to you each month because it's a SaaS company. I'm making this up as I go. And you've got a sales funnel that shows you've got another 200 potential customers that you haven't closed yet, but they're very interested on top of the 100 you have. Maybe your company is now worth 10 million. And this time you want to go out and raise $3 million to continue the acceleration. So in this example, your pre-money is 10, your raise is 3, your post-money is 13. 3 divided by 13 is 23%. You would have diluted yourself plus your last investor, another 23%. So your 80% now goes down to 18% less. So 80 less 18, you now own 62%. And your 20% shareholder is also diluted by 23%. They now own 15. And then your new investor coming in would own 23. And so that's just very simple math that shows what happens to your shareholdings as you raise more money and you go through dilution. That's just the normal way it works.
That's it for this Minisode. Big thanks to Ed and to all of you for tuning in. If this sparked something, hit subscribe so you don't miss the next one, and make sure you share it within your network. Got a question for Ed? Drop it within the comments. See you next time.
Please note, the views and opinions expressed in this podcast are those of the host and guests and do not necessarily reflect the official policy or position of any affiliated organization. The content provided is for informational purposes only and should not be considered as professional advice. We encourage listeners to conduct their own research and consult with relevant professionals before making any business or career decisions.